Good morning, children. Today we are going to learn about the history, the Chalukyas of Badami and the Pallavas of Kanchi. In this lesson, we are going to learn about the beginning of the Chalukyas of Badami and the expansion of his kingdom of the famous king of Pulakeshin II. So, we are going to learn about the king Pulakeshin Second, in this lesson, how he has ruled his country in his place and how he expanded his kingdom, what are his religious and social activities of the judicial kingdom, Chalukyas of Badami, and with the help of the Pallavas of the Kanchi. So, before we take on to this lesson, let us take it on with a page number of 76. Please open down the lesson, page number 76. So, when we learn in this lesson, I read out in a paragraph, sentence by sentence, correctly follow the lesson. The powerful king of rulers of Karnataka in the 6th century to 8th century. So, we are learning in from 6th century to 8th century CE. So, the king of Pulakeshin Sen expanded his where the Chalukyas of Badami. They established a supremacy in Karnataka for 2 centuries continuously. They have ruled all over the Karnataka for 2 centuries and ruled with the immense glory. Chalukyas of dynasty occupies an important position in the South history and become a powerful dynasty of India. So two dynasties they have celebrated. They've been ruled in this country on that of Karnataka. The rule of Chalukyas began in 6th century and ended in the middle of the part of the 8th century. So from 6th century to 8th century, the Chalukyas of Badami ruled the country. Raja Jayasima was the founder of this dynasty. So who was the first king of the dynasty? Is the Raja Jayasima. Is the first king of the dynasty, founder of the most powerful and noteworthy emperor of this dynasty of Pulakeshin. Overpowering of the Gangas, Kadambas, and Alupas, he extended his empires. Right? How did he expand his empire? By the Alupas, Gangas, and the Kadambas. So, overpowering of Jayasima, Raja Jayasima expanded his kingdom. The Pallavas were at the peak glory of South Deccan since Mahendravarna did not accept the sovereignty of Pulakesin. Pulakesin defeated him. When Harshavardhana was ruling in the North India, he advanced about the bank of the river Narmada. Pulakeshin stopped him and earned the title Dakshinapateshwara and the Lord of the Peninsula of his daring attack. So what you come to know in this lesson, in the first paragraph, it is tells about the Raja Jayasima. He is the founder of the king of the dynasty. Our overpowering of the Gangas, Alupas and Kadamas, the Pulakeshin second expanded the thing. Then Mahendravarma accept the sovereignty of the. Then on the north side, who came into power? Harshavardhana. He did not expand his much committed and went on the river banks of the river Narmada. And he was on, Pulakeshin stopped his attack on him, stopped and earned the title as Dakina Padeshwara. What was the title? These are the 1 mark questions of this. Whenever you mark it down the points, you take it on the 1 mark questions. That will be useful for your MCQs and also for 1 mark questions. So note down the points of this, that Pulakeshin II, the king of the powerful of the 6th century to 8th century BC. That at the time Pulakeshin II was a ruler king. The first king of the king is Raja Jayasimha. Overpowering of the Gangas, Alupas and Kalpana, Harshavardhana came into power, and then on Narmada river. And Pulakeshin II earned the title of Dakshina Prateshwara, and he was called as the Lord of the Peninsula. So what you come to know on this paragraph is that the powering of the dynasty in the Kadambas of the Harshavardhanas came into power, and he took over the thing. Next, Pulakeshin II gave his brother king of Narmada of the Kubja Vardhasena of his brother to take care of the power. When he took on the power on this period of time, did Pulakeshin Harshavardhana attack on the title, and the Lord of Pulakeshin's title was given as Dakshina and Lord of Peninsula. He was a friendly relationship with the foreign affairs. So when he got very well in relations with the foreign people, he had a lot of over the kings of the foreigners also. He had a friendly relationship, so that his trade and commerce was going on very well. So what you did, all the six also you can find in this thing. Pulakeshin not only hold of his kingdom of the entire society of Kamnas, he appointed his brother, who was his brother as a Kubja Vishnuvardhana and as a head of Vengi of Jayasima and head of the Gujarat province. Chalukyas ruled the kingdom for about 5 centuries during the name of the Chalukyas of Vengi. So what you come to know, the second point is about the kingdom. The beginning of the Audi Empire is the king, the Chalukyas of Badami, the lesson of here, how the beginning of the expansion of the empire of King Pulakeshin II, and how his military uses that you come to know in the second para. I'm going on to read the second para. Please note down. Pulakeshin II could not rule the whole of the kingdom from 1 century. He appointed his brother Kubja Vishnuvardhana as the provincial head of Vengi and Jayasimha as the head of the Gujarat province. Later on, Chalukyas ruled the kingdom for around 5 centuries under the name of Chalukyas of Vengi. So what is happening is Pulakeshin II could not rule the whole of his kingdom. So he appointed his brother as a Kubja Vishnuvardhana as a provincial head of that place of the Gujarat province and took around for about 5 centuries under the name of the Chalukyas of Vengi. That is the military affairs which he took on the second point. So when you come to about the second point of military survey, you'll come to know that what is his brother name? Kubja Vishnuvardhana, head of which place? Vengi, and Jayasimha as a head of Gujarat province. They ruled for 5 centuries and the name as the Chalukyas of Vengi. Okay. Now, Huen Tanzing was a Chinese traveler. He visited this place and he gave an expression of this kingdom. What he did, he told a mountain. He said this kingdom is so disciplined. Soldiers are they are the lovers of the king. The king was so kind to the people that he had not seen in his own what is said in his life. So they were so optimistic in his life of living it. So I'll read out the third para. Please note down. Hun Sen Tanzing visiting the Chalukya capital, he was given a detailed description of Pulakeshin II and the Chalukya kingdom. He has said that the king was so kind, the army was disciplined and the soldiers were courageous warriors who were not afraid of death. The subjects were lovers of truth, content, and self-respect, prosperous and loyalty of the king. They respect the king very much, and the king allowed his subject. So what you come to know about the king? The king is a very kind person, very kind-hearted person. He take care of all his provinces. Not only the soldiers are very kind to him, and also the people are also very large on this plate. So he come to know about the Pulakeshin. Second, about the soldiers of night. When you come to know about the loyalty and the self-respect of content of the people of the king of respected on this subject. He had a friendly side. Read on to the fourth paragraph. Pulakeshin II was an optimistic emperor. He had a friendly relationship with the foreign kings too. Arab historians report that they had been diplomatic relations with the Pulakeshin said. Khusru II, after some years, the Pallava king Narasimhavarma took revenge on the Chalukyas of the defeat of his father Mahendravarma. He occupied the Chalukya kingdom and captured Vatapi. During the time of the last Chalukya king, Kritivarma and the Rashtrakutas captured his kingdom. After some years, nearly few decades of 2 years of provinces of the rule of 5 centuries, what happened to Pulakeshin, the Pallavas king? Who was the first Pallavas king? Narasimhavarma. Narasimhavarma was the first king of Pallava king. The first king of Rajas, before I rub it out. The first king of Pulakeshin, king of second. The first king is Raja Jayasimha. He took all power of the Gangas, Alupas, and Kadambas. Harshavardhana was ruled over the Narmada king of it, and he was given a Pulakeshin second was given the title was given as Dakshina Pradeshwara, the Lord of Peninsula. Oh, yeah, what was the title? First question. What was the title given to Pulakeshin second? He was given the title as Dakshina Pradeshwara and the Lord of Peninsula. Who took over the overpowering of the Chalukyas of Badami, Gangas, Halupas, and Kadambas? So from this itself, we come to know about the 1 mark questions. Next, his brother Kubja Vishnuvardhana took the head of the Vengi. Jayasimha is the head of the Gurjat of all of the provinces. Who is the head of the provinces? Jayasimha. What is the brother who took back of the head of the Vengi? Kubja Vishnuvardhana. Then, how many years of Chalukyas of Vengi ruled about for 5 centuries? So, you can take care of the 1 mark questions here only. Now, Hansing Tansen ruled over it. And what is the administration of the king, of the kingdom of the king? What do you come to know about the administration? They are very powerful, very king. King was very kind and loyal to the people. He was truth and trustworthy, self-respect. They have a prosperous life, king. And he was what did he have relationship with the other countries? He had very good relationship with the foreign affairs, and due to that, Arab countries and the other king of the Persia king of them. Pallavas king of next will come to about the Narasimhavarma first. I have given a short note for all this. Write a short note on Narasimhavarma already. The Pallavas took revenge on the Chalukyas and defeated his father. Who was his father? Named Mahendravarma. And defeated his father. He occupied the Chalukyan kingdom and captured Vatapi. Where did he capture? Vatapi. So he captured Vatapi. During the last of the Chalukya king, Kirtivarma of Rashtrakuta captured his kingdom. So what do you get from this? After some years of the Pallavas of Kanchi, we come to know about his Narasimhavarma was the first of the Pallavas of Chalukyas. His father Mahendravarma took power over this of Narasimha and he captured of Vatapi. So what you come to know about in this first paragraph of Chalukyas of Badami. Chalukyas of Badami, the post-powerful king of Pulakesin II, who ruled over the kingdom of the Chalukyas of Badami. What was the contribution they gave during the time of the Chalukyas? I read on the last paragraph, please note down. Chalukyas developed the Kannada language, language and culture and protected its religion, literature, art and architecture. They were the ones who gave the name Karnataka to this land. The region of this Badami Chalukyas is great and glorious period in the history of Karnataka. This age of noteworthy not only its military exploits but also in art and architecture and literature. Then Kannada language, it being a state language of Kannada, they've given more importance on the religious content of Karnataka, on their language and culture. So we come to know about the religious art and architecture and literature on this printing. They named Karnataka to this land. Chalukyas of Badami, the region of Badami is a glorious of Karnataka, and due to the power of military exploit of art and literature, the land of Karnataka came into existence. They ruled for about 200 years. The king was actively involved in the administration. The kingdom was divided into districts called as Vishayadipati. So we come to know about the administration level is already done, and we come to know about the art and architecture and literature. What is the art and architecture literature or given the name of that period of time of Chalukyas? They ruled for about 200 years and they divided the districts into two. What is the two districts that have been divided? They divided into two districts that was given as a Vishaya and Vishayadipati. Vishaya and so question number 1, what are the two districts of Chalukyas of Badami? The contributions of Chalukyas. They divided into two districts, that is the Vishaya and Vishadipati, and used to look after the king itself, used to look after the administration, and he divided the provinces and of two divisions and gave on the council of ministers to take care of his council of ministers to take care of the king. The villages was the smallest unit of the images, and the villages leaders to look after on the villages account. So what he did, he divided the two districts into, named them as Vishaya and Vishayadipati. What are the two districts of Chalukyas of Badami? Chalukyas of Badami, the two districts are named as at Vishaya and Vishayadipati. I have to note down the first mark questions. What are the two districts of Chalukyas of Badami? The two named as Vishaya and Dipati. And he also gave a village's head to take care of the small villages head of the provinces of that period of time. Chalukyas encourages last paragraph of Chalukyas of page number 77. Chalukyas encourage all traditions and sects like that or on the Vaishyas, Vaishnavas and the Jains. He supported the constructions of Jain temple and Buddhist viharas too. So you have already learned about the Buddhist viharas in most of the lessons. Here also he gave importance to the Jainism and Buddhism, and he had made note of viharas and temples, and he was given a different, not only that other Jain sects also, he encouraged them, named it as Vaishnavas. What are the two districts? Now sects of two. What are the two sects? Shaivas and Vaishnavas. Yes. What are the two sects of that region of Chalukyas of Badami? We come to know about the two sects, Shaivas and Buddhists. They are the Jainisms of Buddhism, Jain sects. Have been encouraged in support of temples. Due to this, number of Buddhist temples and monks are being built on that period of time. So Chalukyas or Badamis, they are more patronized on art, literature and architecture. Kannada and Sanskrit language also was being encouraged on this. So what is the language of that period is Kannada and Sanskrit. Let us come back to the thing. What are the two districts of examples of 1 mark question? Two districts of the Chalukyas of Badami. The two districts of Chalukyas of Badami are Vaishyas and Vaishadipati. What are the two sects of the Chalukyas are Shaivas and Vaishnavas. What are the languages being given in that period of time? Importance of literature is Kannada and Sanskrit. So it is not become, then this has become, which has become a state language, Kannada has become a state language. So due to this, the land of the state of Karnataka and the land state language has been existed in this period of time. I'll read on the page number 78, first paragraph. Chalukyas of Badami patronized literature. Kannada and Sanskrit developed very well. Kannada was their state language. During this period, the tripartite form of poetry came into existence. Though there were no literary works produced in Kannada at this time, there were many inscriptions written in Kannada. One of the poem of the inscription was Kape Arabhatta of Badami and Tripartite form. The Sanskrit scholar of this time is Ravi Kirtini, Vijika, Aklanka, Kaumudi Mahotsav, written by Pulakeshin's second daughter-in-law, poetess Vijika. Hara Paravitra, Vishwasarabhatra are the important Sanskrit dramas. So not only Kannada and literature of Karnataka, we come to know about the languages of Sanskrit and Kannada as a state language. Their poetic work of tripartite form of work is also been existed in that period of time. The inscriptions were written in Kannada form, and one of the most of the inscriptions given of that period of time. So overall, we come to know about this inscriptions you have seen in the inscriptions given in the book. If you see the picture of Vishaka of Viruparaksha temple at Pattadakalu and the poem of inscriptions, what you come to know, how they write the poem in a short format for the relics and all that, you come to know about this poetic way. Then they are the art and literature of the Winters. Next, we come to on to the next of the more than the temples. What are the temples you find on this period of time? So, three districts you come to know about. The main six of this lesson is the point of wise. So 1 mark questions itself, there itself we can take it on the 1 mark questions. So let us go on to the literary poet of the period of the period of time. What was the poetic of that period of time? So first is this, what is the form? What is the form of the tripartite form? Is the form of writing it. The poetic of tripartite form. Then Sanskrit scholars. I give on the Sanskrit scholars. Who are the Sanskrit scholars? 1 mark question. Ravi Kirti, Vijika, and Aklanka. And Kaumudi. Also. Next, what are the Sanskrit dramas? Poetess, Vijika, and Hara Parvatiya or Shiva Bhatta are the important Sanskrit dramas. So these are the inscriptions. What are the Kannada inscriptions of the poems? One of the important inscriptions of Tripartite form. Tripartite form, you can find the Sanskrit scholars of these are the names, which is in Vijika, Aklanka, Rarikriti, Kaumudi, Mahatsava. Next, what are the Tripartite form? What is the form of the writing is? One mark question. You can write this. It is in a Tripartite form. Who is called Sanskrit scholars? These are the names of the Sanskrit scholars. Next, who gave the Sanskrit drama? And the poetess Vijika Hari Paravatarya of Shiva Bhattacharya. This is going to give it for Sanskrit dramas. Next, you come to know about the inscriptions of one of the poem of the inscriptions is, what is the poem of inscriptions? Poem of inscriptions. I've already sent in your notes. Again, I'll send back. Of Badami. It is in Tripartite form. You can make down that also, and also write along with that. We can add this inscription of Tripartite form as one more this of Poetica. So Chalukyas not only of art, literature, and architecture, they are the lovers of temples. So Badami, Aholi, and Pattadakalu are the temples of inscriptions of Chalukya. There are a number of caves of inscriptions of art and architecture. You can find in the picture given here, page number 78, the writing and the picture of that period of time. So the temples of Chalukya and Pattadakal were not only a cradle of temple architecture of that period of time, it also gives about the temple of found in the inscriptions of all the famous temples of the paintings received in the world. It's Ajanta and paintings of that period are world famous of that period of time. So what you come to know in this lesson about Chalukyas of Badami, that Chalukyas, the beginning of expansion of their empire of Pulakeshin II, how he and then Pulakeshin II was ruling his power on continuously power, and he was the emperor of Badami of Chalukyas, the most powerful king of the Chalukyas of Badami. Point number one, question number one, Pulakeshin II. Who was the ruler of Chalukya? How many middle years of rulers that you will from 6th century to 10? Then Pulakeshin stopped the Harshavardhana attack and entered the title. What was the title as given for the Pulakeshin II? Dakshina Pradeshwara and the Lord of Peninsula. So here yourself you'll get the 1 mark questions. I also give you in my classwork. I'll send in PDF form of these 2 lessons. History 2 lessons you have for the test. Time being is what all the lessons completed, that only end. You wait for my instructions of what all lessons you are going to complete for test. Question answers and classworks is already given to you. You have given for corrections also. Only the 1 mark questions will be given to you in a PDF form. Literally to all the lessons together, by lesson by lessons, I will send you 1 mark questions of thing. Now let us come back to the main points of the Pulakeshin II. Pulakeshin II, younger brother Kubja Harshavardhana was the provinces of head of Vangi. Who was the provinces of head of Vangi? Pulakeshin II of Kubja Harshavardhana. Point number 1. 1 mark questions. What is brother then? Then who was an optimistic emperor? He has a friendly relationship with the foreign affairs, and due to that his trade and commerce was developing very well. And how was he? He was a very kind and soft-minded. He was loyal and he was respected in all evil things. Who come to know about his loyalty? Anson Tansen was a Chinese traveler come to write about the Chinese things. Point number 3. Next, what are the traditions and sects of Shaivasa? Vishnu Shaivasas are the Jainism spread on the Buddhist temples. Then Kannada and Sanskrit literature was the most thing. The Kannada language of the state become, due to this early Karnataka to this day has become a state language. Then Chalukyas developed the Chalukya title of the style of architecture. They are the lovers of art and architecture and literature, and the best temples of the style is Aholi, Badami and Pattadakallu. So you come to know about the Jainism. 6, the last point is about the literature. Literature, the Sanskrit Brahmana poetess Vijika, Hariparvatika, Shiva Bhattarya, and the Triparty form. It is given in a Triparty form. The poem of inscription work of Aryabhatta, inscription of that period of time in Karnataka, in Kannada, and also was given a Chalukya style of Indian architecture, the cave and temples, the rocks of Badami, the scriptures, architecture, beautiful scriptures being did, Virupaksha temple at Pattadakallu, and the architecture of that time you can find in the picture of the book of the Sanskrit, the thing of that period of the temples, and also then, so they not only give more importance on Sanskrit and also the Kannada language. So the first poetic point has also been introduced of thing. So Chalukyas are only not only an art and architecture, they are the builders and ours are builders of art and beautiful temples of Badami, Aholi and Patakali. If you have visited, you'll come to know the beautiful temples of that period of time. So this not only tells about the art and architecture, the religious, military affairs, and also the social and the judicial expansion. Next, how he helped is extended his empire on over through the map. You come to know about the thing, and next you come to know about the Pallavas. The first point is we are learned today is about Chalukyas of Badami. What about his art, architecture, religious, social, military, and judicial affairs with the religious, and also judicial affairs with the country, how he was a king and how he had contacts with other foreign affairs. Due to that, he expanded his kingdom and he was the lovers of the people. All he make him as love him a lot, and he was very loyal and self-reliant, and he was overall a prosperous, proper king. So we come to know about this lesson on this thing. Now, with Pallavas, you have already given the classwork of 5 question answers and the fill in the blanks, and also given about a short note of Narasimha Varma first. That is the first part of the lesson. The second part of the lesson is tells about the Pallavas of Kanchi. That will come to next class, and after the next class, I will send in a PDF of 1 mark questions of 10 and 11. Right now, you learn about this lesson number 10 and 11 for history, for test. Later on, we'll see the other lessons. Thank you. Take care of